Here, a short overview.
I'm half German, half Ecuadorian. I grew up always also having the view of my father, who's not German, on Germans, like what is particular in Germany and why do Germans do this that way. And,
I'm so curious.
What I really like about Germany is that it is super different, because if you see the Alps and also the culture in the Alps and like what other people think is Germany is mostly southern Germany, but the people in the north are so different, and it is very windy there, and it also a great landscape, so I really like this. And then of course I really like some of the cities, and they're also super different. If I go to Ecuador and I see my family, which I haven't seen for a while, we just talk. It's about a lot about jokes and just like, oh, listen to the music and then have a dance. And it's really about this moment and just having a good time. Here, when I see people, or like in Germany, it's so much about where are you in your CV kind of, and not so much about like, let's have a good time or how are you in life beside the job.
So would you say failing is not allowed in Germany?
I think it is allowed, but of course it's a culture of you want these success stories. I think there's like a misconception that most of the companies succeed, but most of the companies don't succeed. And I mean, it was an active decision to end the company. We could probably have survived with a lot of bootstrapping and trying hard, but it felt like in Germany you say like riding a dead horse. And we made the decision, no.
Welcome listeners to the podcast Global Communicator. Don't believe tourists, we ask the locals.
Global Communicator, the podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Global Communicator. Today with Elisa.
Hello.
Well, again in an amazing surrounding, because we are sitting in a gondola of cosmopolitan at a startup festival, Ski Innovation.
Yes.
Well, thanks to the organizer for the invitation to connect each other, right? Yes. And yeah, Elisa, well, we are just arriving in the station.
Yes, exactly.
That's a perfect timing to start our podcast. We are speaking today about Germany. So one of the countries which is the neighbor country of Austria. So obviously I have a lot of friends from Germany and also a lot of experience from Germany. But I'm curious what you tell us today about Germany. Because, well, the main goal of our podcast is don't ask the tourists, we ask the locals. So we want to have the perspective of the locals. First of all, listeners, thanks a lot for our feedback the last episodes. And there was also the question why in the beginning the connection between me and the guests are not so cool as at the beginning always, because the first 10 episodes or maybe the first 20 countries have been friends of mine, which I knew better. So always the connection is directly very good because it's a friendship. Yes, and now it's more or less always people which I get to know from friends or from listeners who wanted to be part of the podcast. So that's why the first minutes we always need to get connected a bit and get to know each other. Let's jump into the topic Germany and to yourself. First of all, give our listeners a short overview about yourself. Tell our listeners what's your experience and, well, what did you do in the last years?
Yeah, perfect. I always find it so hard to say, like, who am I in a few minutes? So I'm half German, half Ecuadorian. And I think probably this podcast is also a little interesting because I grew up always also having the view of my father, who's not German, on Germans, like what is particular in Germany and why do Germans do this that way. And,
I'm so curious.
And so for me it was always like a horizon, like this is not normal, this is one way to do things or to see the world, but like there's totally different worlds somewhere else, like with my cousins in Ecuador for example. Yeah, for the last years I've been working in startups, so I was the first employee of Einhorn Condoms, and we did fair organic condoms and really changed the value chain and everything, and were very famous for new work introduction and had no hierarchies and no democratic salary systems and stuff. And then after this I founded Unlearn Business Lab, which is like an experimental space for people from the business world coming together to rethink our economic system so that it is within the planetary boundaries and socially fair. And my last startup was a Zweihorn Energy, which was like solar panels for the balcony. But in September we failed. Yeah, we didn't succeed financially, but because I think we succeeded on other spheres. Then I'm now in a transition phase and starting Tuesday a new job.
Elisa, well, I definitely got it that it's hard to share yourself in a few minutes because, wow, so many interesting facts already. 2 startups, right?
Yes.
Einhorn, Zweihorn, and a new job coming up. So crazy. Is it easy to start a company in Germany?
I've never started a company somewhere else, or I wasn't involved in a company somewhere else in the early phase. But of course...
But you're from Berlin.
Yeah,
Startup
exactly.
scene is big in Berlin,
I
or
think
is it?
Yeah, it's very big in Berlin. And there's a great ecosystem, so that helps. But then it also depends on the area you're working in or you want to start the business in. So, for example, with the condoms, we imported from a manufacturer who already imported condoms to other brands. And then we did like the whole world around this already existing infrastructure. So there was no bureaucratic craziness involved. But for example, with Zweihorn Energy, it was very hard because it is like balcony solar panels, and I really think a lot of people wanted the product, and it is a great product because you can easily have your balcony to produce energy from out of space, how we call it.
Actually, I already thought about it to make that,
And but then you have regulations, and then it was very hard because the regulation is that you are not, if you live in a rented flat, you have to ask your landlord, and if you don't live in a rented flat but you own the flat, then you still have to ask all the other people who also live in the building. And then the regulation is that all the people like owning a flat in this, they meet once a year, and like for a startup it's like, okay, when is your next conference? Oh, in May. Okay, great. And then I went to some of these get-togethers where all the landlords or like owners of the flats come together, and then they're like, let's interesting, I've never heard about it. So it was a lot of skepticism because they're not used to startups and just try out, and and
I definitely got it. That's definitely a point which makes it harder. Yeah.
And then this makes it very hard. And then it was let's just write us an email or like a PDF, and then we think about it, and next year we have a decision. And I was like, yeah, we have runway until September, but maybe next year I can sell you something or not, or like, So what I heard is like other countries have even stricter regulations when it comes to balcony solar.
Okay. So I actually wanted to ask you now the hypothetical question if you would have succeeded in another country, but
so far no country really got really succeeded in this market. Although I think there's a demand and there's a supply, but there's energy market is highly regulated in every country, which is good also. I mean, we need a regulated energy market.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the expert in that. I just made to my house now the solar panels on the rooftop, and I'm very happy and already fanatic every time.
Yeah, it is so great.
The dates. So how many did I make today? Wow, cool.
Yeah. And it is a great feeling because then you feel like, okay, the sun is shining, and then you're like, now I'm doing the laundry because then it's for free. And I didn't even bother before if my laundry was for free and the energy cost about my laundry, but it feels like now I'm hijacking the system.
Or you see in your app, I saved 2 trees in the last 2 weeks. Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Really nice. So
exactly.
You get really fanatic. It's a pity that your idea didn't work. So that's something new, listeners. Normally we have our fixed structure of the podcast, but now we start with something. No, that's very interesting. So that's cool that every podcast is something special. So, we already mentioned that you are from Berlin, right?
Yes.
So if we speak about Germany, are there any spots which people have to see? Like in my mind, if I think about Germany, I have to be at least once in Berlin, Munich, and so some things like that. But as a local, is there something special in Germany which people have to see?
I mean, it really depends on where you're coming from. So, for example, if my family from Ecuador comes, I really recommend the Alps and like the lakes and the Alps. And, but I mean, you're mostly from the Alps, so I guess you just look
well,
like,
all my listeners from the podcast know that I'm a very fanatic skier, and today is actually the perfect spot for a podcast. And I made already a few podcasts up on the mountain, so they know I love the Alps, and we often speak about skiing and Alps and so on. So I really like it if you suggest the Alps.
No, but
the German side is in this case.
Yeah, exactly. And beside that, I mean, what I really like about Germany is that it is super different, because if you see the Alps and also the culture in the Alps and like what other people think is Germany is mostly southern Germany, like all this Bavarian culture, for example. But the people in the north are so different, and the like, I mean, we have ocean, yeah, there, and it is very windy there, and also a great landscape. So I really like this. And then of course I really like some of the cities, and they're also super different. So Munich is such a different vibe from Berlin, and Hamburg is totally a different vibe. And I really like all of these cities, but of course I prefer Berlin because I'm living in Berlin. But then I feel like in Berlin you really have this very cosmopolitan life, because it attracts people from all over the world. And I think somehow this feeling was in New York a few years back, but now New York just got too expensive, and hopefully Berlin will not be the same. But you really feel like, okay, you go somewhere and it's really authentic Turkish culture, or you get food from all over the globe, or you also have like different scenes for every particular niche. You have a scene there, so you have artists go into different niches, and so and there are like lots of festivals and like really rich culture, which I really, really love. You go to the city and then you check like what is going on, and then it's overwhelming at the same time, but it is like, oh wow, it really broadens your horizon, and that's what I love, but it is also exhausting. So
I really feel the emotions in your words. It's really cool that you're also so honest. So Elisa, well, you already mentioned some spots. Do you have, I always ask that in my podcast, a secret spot in your mind which you can't find directly on Google?
Yeah, actually, because it is sometimes overwhelming, I have a spot. It's next to Hasenheide, like it's a park in Berlin.
Hasenheide is it called?
Yeah, but next to it there's a cemetery.
Okay, now I'm curious.
And there's like, of course, the normal cemetery, and there's one part of the cemetery, if you go really deep in, which is like, it's not really, it's very dead. Like,
no, say.
No, but it's
No,
like
really.
there's nothing happening anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there's like. Just nature took it over, kind of. But then some artists put like in a field, kind of, it's a field, it's a wild field, within the trees, put like in spare spaces always 2 chairs in there. And then you go there and it's so silent, and you're sitting in the middle of Berlin, but it's so silent, and you're in the middle of the nature, but there's always these 2 chairs that invite people to talk to each other, or also to just read a book. But it's so clear that the design of these 2 chairs make that you won't go there to have a picnic or to have loud music, or but it's you go there to really have like deep conversations or be all by yourself. So it's like a very peaceful space, which I really love.
Wow. What makes it so special for you? Well, just it's hard to imagine to sit in a cemetery on 2 chairs and having a chat with someone and feeling just lost in the nature. Because when I listen to your words, you really like it, love it, right? This place, I didn't expect to get such a secret spot, so I'm actually also searching for words. So describe it a bit more, why it's so special?
I mean, it's honestly, it is beautiful because you have nature, but then you have like two beautiful chairs. So it's not just like a wooden bench or wood. So you really see like, oh, let's sit. If you just pass by, it's just like it invites you to sit there, and then you see somewhere like two chairs over there and two over there, and then you also feel like, of course, there's this surrounding of the cemetery, but it is not with sadness, but more like with like peace and like, okay, very calm, and to also reflect, of course, about life. But there's this feeling at least for me, that is surrounding this space. So you would never go there, like, which is normally the case in parks with like boxes and like music, and so it makes like the atmosphere that is very, very unique. And then you're sitting there, or you go by yourself and like just reading a book, but it's so clear that it's you are there in this moment, connected with the space, and in the middle of the not nature, but trees, and So
Wow, listeners, as you can see, we have already 50 nations interviewed. The secret spot is always something special, and I didn't expect to hear once in my life to a cemetery to be a secret spot. But wow, I have to check it out for sure,
Yes.
for sure, definitely. So, Elisa, you already started with people from Germany, like how is life there, and make a comparison between, well, your roots from Ecuador, as you already mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah, for example, like what I always feel like if I go to Ecuador and I see my family, which I haven't seen for a while, we just talk. It's about a lot about jokes and just like, oh, listen to the music and then have a dance. And it's really about this moment and just having a good time. And here when I see people, or like in Germany, it's so much about where are you in your CV, kind of like work, and what you do professionally is very important. So it's like, okay, did you finish your studies? How is the job going? What is the next position, or whatever? It's really like, okay, and not so much about like, let's have a good time, or how are you, like in life beside the job. So I really feel this is a difference, but of course this is also something good, because I think this engineer mindset, and that things are functioning very, very well. So somewhat not like bureaucratic system in Germany is not functioning well, in my opinion, but
I would say the same about Austria.
It really,
Especially if you're a company, then it's quite annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm sure it's quite similar in Germany and Austria.
Yeah, exactly. But like in general, like this engineer mindset, I think it comes from somewhere as well. So of course, if you compare these two countries, because I was always like thinking, okay, where do I want to live and what are the benefits? Of course, it's amazing to live in Germany with the systems we have, with the infrastructure we have, it is a functioning country where you have free education. Exactly. My mom told me that when she was pregnant with me, and that you have to pay $1,000 at this time to give birth, and this is like so crazy.
In Ecuador.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, and now it's just like, of course, I have two children, and it's just like, you get to a hospital and have other thoughts about, but it's not about money, of course. And so this is something amazing also, like feeling safe. Raising kids in Germany is
very good point.
Amazing.
Yeah, like one of the
bicycle on the
podcasts,
streets,
which was a few episodes before us, was Ethiopia, and well, there we spoke always about health system and school, for example. Just to go to school was something special for him. So when he told me in the podcast, he had to run every day 1 hour to school. So that's
crazy.
Big advantages which we have here in Austria.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or cycling on the streets alone as a woman at night is like nothing.
Big privilege.
I would never. No one would ever do this in Ecuador.
Yeah. So big differences.
Yeah.
But there was already a question in my mind before you answered that, but you even underlined it with your words. What's your CV? Like, is failing allowed in Germany? You already made this experience. You're honest and self-confident to speak about it, which is amazing. Congrats to that, by the way. But is it allowed in Germany? How was it?
It was so funny. It is really funny because I think I'm not the normal founder, because I really was in the environment of Einhorn and established everything, and then I got all the self-confidence of like, okay, yes, I can build a company myself. It was such a great experience. I really enjoyed the year where we tried to build this company and like doing this, and it's just like it was a very good year, and I made the decision, and I knew that 90% of the startups fail, so it's like very high probability that you fail. So but
is it really 90%?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really high.
Yeah, it is super high. So it's like, okay, you go in there. Then I did it because I knew like, okay, I will learn a lot. I love to build something from the scratch. I love to build something and not someone telling me what to do. So it's like, it has a lot of advantages. But of course, failing is like very, very, could come like a failure. So I knew this from the beginning, and it's so funny because then we failed and I felt like, yeah, but still I had a great time. I'm like so much like more wiser, or like have so much more experience than 1 year ago, than not having been doing this. So everything is on the plus side, just that I have to find a new job. It's just like, okay, but okay, you can do this because you have also more experience and showed that you...
Yeah, but you also lose money, right?
Yeah, of course. You lose money, but of course, you lost money. Of course, also the investors lost money. And this is the main point. That's like, okay, you have to face like, okay, this is not cool for them.
And you disappointed people.
Yeah, exactly. And this was the hardest part. But besides that, it felt like, okay, for me personally, it is. Totally okay. And then it was so funny because all my surrounding was like, yeah, we didn't succeed. And I was like, but I'm good, it's okay. And all my surrounding was like, oh, like looking at me that I would be now the saddest person on earth. And I was like, no, I'm feeling okay, it's okay. And then it's like, no, but how are you? And like this look, and I was like, wow, people expected me that I should be super sad and like disappointed and ruined, kind of. But I was like, no, I will get up again. It is okay.
Happy to hear that. So people treated you different.
Yeah, people treated me like, or expected a different reaction from me. So this, I felt like very interesting.
So would you say failing is not allowed in Germany?
I think it is allowed, but of course it's a culture of you want success stories. Also in podcasts, it was like, oh, what are you doing? It's like, oh, you want these success stories, like, and I think there's like a misconception that most of the companies succeed, but most of the companies don't succeed, or and I mean, it was an active decision to end the company, because I think we could probably have survived with a lot of like a lot of really bootstrapping and trying hard, but it felt like, okay, it's like in Germany you say like riding a dead horse, and we made the decision, no, we want a business that is either really successful or we give up. Okay. And we gave up. But maybe we could have built a business that is, you say in German, rumkrebsen. That is like always on the edge to be failing. But maybe we could have done this. Okay. But we were like, no, this is not about
Got your decision. So let's make a short resume. So far we spoke about Berlin, the difference in Germany, like north and the Alps, the south. And we also had already a very special secret spot. We definitely spoke a lot about economic in Germany and how to make a startup and, well, bureaucracy and so far, and many more things. But one step to the side, let's speak a bit about food. Like, Germany is not very famous for food. Is it true what people say, food is not very good in Germany?
Oh, I think you find very good food, but I really don't like this very traditional German food because it's very, very heavy, and I don't like meat so much. So it's like there's not a lot else involved. But at the same time, especially in Berlin, oh my God, you have so good food because there are people from all over the world, and then there's this fusion kitchen, and so you can have so good food in Berlin.
Yeah, let's give our listeners example. Give your favorite food.
I haven't been there yet, but there's a dessert restaurant where you get an 8-course menu, just desserts. I really want to go there, for example.
Okay.
Then there's Peruvian, like mixed food or like fusion kitchen.
So again, you're just speaking about international food.
Yeah.
Is there any German food in your mind?
The fusion kitchen is emerging from this international, intercultural scene.
Yeah, sure. But
really.
Okay, I got it.
The salads. Actually, the salads.
The salads?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you go somewhere else,
we took that as an answer. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Well, we actually have to look a bit at our time because, we already made a lot of turnarounds in the gondola here. It's getting brighter, and I already used my sunglasses, so I'm sure we will have good lines afterwards for skiing. So I'm already excited, and also excited about our podcast. It was very fun to speak with you. I just have one additional question. You already worked in Germany, center of Europe. Is it helpful that you have the whole European market actually? Because
yes. For example, we work with the solar panels. We work very closely with a company in France, and it would have not been possible without without Europe as we have it today. We also get demands, and then I felt like, okay, Europe is not that unified how it could be, because we got demand from Austria, Switzerland, and also other countries. And then we were like, okay, then logistics, it's very, very costly to ship some solar panels. So we stick to Austria and Germany.
Very good. And well, listeners, thanks for listening and to be part of this special podcast. You know, our podcast is a video podcast, so if you listen to it on any listening app, you also can watch it on YouTube, where we are already very big. Thanks for that and for all your support. Thanks for the insight, Elisa, about Germany and about your personal life. It was very interesting, also for me. I will definitely try your secret spot.
Yes.
And so anyway, we are going to enjoy now the ski area, and it was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And guys, thanks for your help again. Hannes, thanks for your voice and the sound. And Isabel, also thanks for you to make the camera, and good luck with your startup. It's actually fitting good to this podcast today. So bye, listeners.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. And if you like the podcast, please share it and like it. I'm happy for any comment. And follow us on Instagram or on any listening app. I'm happy to hear from you and hopefully see you soon in the next episode. Bye bye.